Jeanette tells me you're a pastor.
Yes. Currently.
I know we must seem pretty strange. But if you look a little deeper, if you look with love, you'll see a bunch of kids that are searching for all the right things, just in all the wrong places. So to answer your question, how do I describe my people? They're sheep without a shepherd, chasing hard after lies. And the trouble is, your people reject them. So I ask you, Pastor, how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? We can only walk through doors open to us. And your church, well, that's a door that's shut.
Hai, Shalom. Selamat datang ke Legacy.tv dan bersama dengan saya lah Joshua Baru. Hai, Joshua.
Halo.
Yes. Dan saya lah Richard. Dan dalam video ini, pertama ini, ialah series yang we hope we can expand more. But pada mulanya, we just want to do a discussion about movie. Sebab rasanya banyak movie yang keluar kan. Even this year, even next year juga saya melihat there are some interesting movies. I was thinking, why don't we just discuss about this? Dan juga kita linknya dengan hal isu sosial or whatever happens around us lah. So bersama dengan kita lah Joshua, dan Joshua dari mana? Maybe you can just introduce yourself.
Okay, so a short introduction. Nama saya Joshua Baru. Saya seorang pekerja sepenuh masa dengan BEM. Saya sedang melayani di Gereja Airport Road Church di dalam bahagian bahasa Inggeris sebagai pastor gereja. Dan selama saya melayani, saya khusus melayani bersama muda-mudi. Ya, itu short introduction lah.
So that is interesting juga kan, sebab movie ini nanti akan berkaitan dengan
Oh yeah.
Dan saya sendiri juga saya melayani
heart.
saya melayani bersama dengan Fellowship of Evangelical Student, iaitu pelayanan untuk students. I think this is a good movie that we want to discuss. Bukan hanya yang the good, but we also want to share about the good, the bad and the ugly. But today we want to read movie ni macam mana lah. So okay, let me just introduce a little bit about this movie. Movie title The Jesus Revolution. Ianya keluar dekat US agak early this year, February. And when I see, it's quite interesting kan, ianya keluar pada February dekat US, but di Malaysia memang tak keluar lah kan. Biasa-biasa. But I check dekat Singapore keluar on March. Dekat Indonesia keluar on April.
Wow.
Di Indonesia lah next time ni. Tengok cerita movie di Indonesia. But we have a good news. Kita bukan hanya ada cinema di Malaysia, kita juga boleh menonton movie-movie yang tidak ditayang di Malaysia melalui channel yang berbeza. So kalau kamu lihat poster di dekat video ini, kamu akan mendapati this is called the Jesus movement. Ianya is grounded pada lebih kurang di hujung tahun 1960-an dan juga di awal 1970-an. Dan di sana mengisahkan tentang tiga karakter yang besar. Yang pertama ialah Lonnie Frisbee, Chuck Smith dan juga Gray Laurie. So this is movie about the revolution yang happen dekat sana, dan di mana kesedaran tentang Yesus ataupun Christianity itu meningkat, awareness, dan itu disebabkan oleh bagaimana dalam cerita ini, contohnya Lonnie Frisbee, dia salah seorang daripada yang dipanggil sebagai the hippie movement kan, suatu ketika dulu. Dan dekat sana background apa yang terjadi pada ketika itu adalah ada Vietnam War dan juga freedom activists dan juga people basically they search for meaning dan juga spirituality, dan juga their drug culture juga ada dekat sana. The hippie movement, what they try to do is they have this counter culture. So because of this, even kalau kita lihat hubungan the hippies and juga the church, ialah the hippies is more like freestyle ataupun free lifestyle kan, open yang maybe a bit bertentangan dengan church culture juga pada ketika itulah. Dan in this movie you can see di mana pertembungan antara hippie movement dan juga church, bagaimana church membuka pintu untuk hippies to come in. Mula-mula sebagai hippie movement, lama-kelamaan sebagai the Jesus movement. I think the title is come from the Times magazine lah yang bagi title. The hippie movement, apabila mereka become Christ follower, they call Jesus fix lah. I think there are a lot more that we can just give introduction dekat sini, but I don't want to go dekat sana. Kamu boleh pergi lah Wikipedia kan, tengok what is the background of this movie. But let me just start with our discussion about this movie. What are something yang interesting yang you find? Maybe you can share one, nanti saya share one, then along the way kita menokok tambah points. What are something interesting for you, brother Joshua?
Thank you, brother. And actually, one of the most interesting thing yang about this movie is that masa the pastor jumpa this lonely guy yang macam Yesus ya. And when he met him kan, dia macam, who are you? And dia tengah lepak dekat rumah, the daughter bawa dia pergi lepak dekat rumah. And that lonely guy slept at the house. And then the father was like, you slept with my daughter? You slept in the house? I was like, kalau saya yang pastor kan, I will not have asked question. Macam bagus betul bah this pastor. He said, can you wait outside? Dia halau, dia pergi luar. Dia lonely tengah pegang kopi, dia tutup pintu. And then dia ask the daughter, siapa kau bawa tu? Dia kata. Kamu coba dengar dia lah. Tuhan jawab doa kamu. Kamu kata mau bawa hippie untuk memahami mereka. Ini Tuhan sudah hantar hippie. So one thing yang very interesting about this movie kan, is that if you pray about something to God, kalau kamu doa sesuatu dengan Tuhan, kamu kata kamu betul-betul mau sesuatu dengan Tuhan, Tuhan akan jawab. Dan pada masa dia hantar itu tidak semestinya seperti mana yang kamu mau. That is one point yang I feel macam, we have to be very very clear with what we pray for, you know. And brother, if you have any points that you want to add.
Yeah, who knows? They just come out in front of your door, kan?
Oh yes. I cannot tell how many times in my life I prayed for ministry yang kata Tuhan saya betul-betul mau bergerak. Sekali Tuhan hantar saya pergi halau orang keluar.
Wow, okay. This story yang kita boleh discuss dekat kedai. Just tambah lagi tentang kalau kita dengar macam Joshua tadi, this pastor is a Chuck Smith, agak terkenal sekarang. Church dia mengalami penurunan because tak banyak orang yang mau pergi ke gereja lah. So pertembungan apabila frisbee datang, itu akan menjadikan sesuatu itu menjadi menarik lah apabila itu jadi. So for me, another thing that interesting for me, actually banyak lah benda interesting, ialah apabila this movie highlight about the need to reach out dengan people yang seperti outcast. Dan pada ketika itu outcast ialah the hippies lah. So mereka memang counter culture dan juga memang gereja. Even kalau saya juga apabila saya fikirkan tentang mereka kan, will I open the church? So the situation in this movie ialah for Chuck Smith, either want to keep that church culture ataupun want to keep that tak tahulah all this standard ke mana dapat standard. I think we understand kenapa this come around, but this personality of lonely frisbee apabila dia datang, it makes macam buat chaos lah. Just contohnya, bukan mau samakan lonely dengan Yesus kan, bukan mau samakan lah. Sebab nanti kita akan bincang juga what are something not so right. Tapi kalau kita baca the gospel kan, di mana saja Yesus berada, there always be something interesting will happen.
Oh yes.
Penolakan, penerimaan, lebih-lebih lagi penerimaan kepada the outcast lah. So this is one thing yang interesting. About how are you juga? Anything macam mana?
Well, when kita berbicara tentang pelayanan gereja dan counter culture kan, when we realize because especially dalam konteks kita di Asia, kita lebih kejam daripada the West. We are very very segi empat kita nih. Memang kalau orang kata segi empat, betul kita nih segi empat. Just saya cuma cerita ini bukan sebagai untuk menghakimi siapa yang pernah buat begini, tapi ini adalah cerita benar nih. Pada satu waktu dulu di gereja kita di Asia, kalau ada orang yang didapati mengandung di luar daripada ikatan perkawinan, kamu tahu apa terjadi pada mereka? Mereka akan didisiplinkan dengan dihantar ke tengah-tengah hutan untuk mencari Tuhan untuk beberapa hari. Mereka tidak ditinggalkan, tetapi mereka dibiarkan bersendirian. Dan jika kita lihat ini berbanding dengan apa pastor respon pastor terhadap yang apa Mr. Loni itu tadi kan, kita dapati bahwa respon dia lebih lebih apa lebih terbuka. Tetapi kita harus memahami satu hal, mengapa gereja Asia bertindak begitu? Karena ada faktor like shame dan ada faktor community shame and individual shame nih. Ini satu yang kita harus paham dulu. Baru kita boleh menghakimi kenapa kita buat apa yang kita buat. I think bro can explain more on this lah because this is a tightrope bah.
Yeah. But you see, kalau kita tengok movie ni kan, dan kita cuba letak diri kita in that pastor's position kan, because even kalau kita lihat pada mulanya juga, apabila ingat kan mula-mula movie show about all these hippies dekat television, dan dia menonton bersama dengan the wife, dan dia a very negative lah perception about these hippies. Dan apabila dia buat macam tiba-tiba macam apa yang Joshua kongsikan tadi, scene di mana one of the hippies leaders yang jadi preacher berdiri di depan pintu dia, and how his response was lah pada ketika itu. So apabila kita letak diri kita in the church position, for example, even as a church leader kan, kalau kamu terima orang seperti ini, adakah kamu seperti mengiyakan dosa ataupun mengiyakan sesuatu prinsip lah dan sebagainya. Tapi kalau kita lihat daripada sudut Loni dan sebagainya, ada satu dialog, nanti kita akan kongsikan juga dialog yang menarik kan. Dia menyatakan bahawa mereka mencari Tuhan, the hippies mencari Tuhan. All this drug is about they are looking for something real. Kemudian dia cakap they going through the door apabila pintu itu yang terbuka, open doors, but your church pastor, your doors shut, tertutup.
Your doors is shut.
dan itu sesuatu yang apabila kita lihat movie ini juga kan, kita harus melihatnya daripada dua perspektif ini. Sukar untuk Pastor Chuck Smith untuk bawa mereka masuk.
Betul.
Dan juga pada masa sama seperti Frisbee ini tadi, juga sesuatu yang sukar yang dia perhatikan lah. It's hard to penetrate the church, but pada masa sama it's hard for church to terima macam itu saja.
Very true.
Kata orang dan sebagainya. Josh, ini more yang menarik juga daripada sini. Banyak kan?
Oh, actually this movie, kalau kamu lihat kan, if you watch this movie, it will bring, especially if you're someone around kami orang punya age nih yang we started melayani dalam pelayanan muda-mudi, kita coba bawa pembaharuan, kita coba bawa kan, and then you see the response of the church leaders kan, dia macam menghidupi semula that part of ministry lah, you know, like, and then memahami jiwa orang muda, tapi pada masa yang sama, karena sekarang kami sudah berada di posisi we are at a level of leadership, not really up there, but we are in the middle, like macam we are still young, but at the same time we have to take leadership sudah. Jadi kami sekarang berada di the twilight zone, di mana kami lihat, oh that's why, memahami mengapa leaders kata begitu, tapi pada masa yang sama, but you know, macam tu. So jadi sekarang sebagai leaders kan, we try to make better decision, tapi at the same time, just like macam pastor tu, the pastor of this Harvest Church, there is always masa dia bagi tahu Loni begini, I took a chance. Dia kata I took a chance by accepting you. Actually kadang-kadang masa leaders cakap macam tu kan, dia bukan kerana dia benci atau dia mau halau kamu. Dia cakap macam tu kerana he wants you to know, bukan kamu saja yang berkorban. Semua berkorban. Everybody is giving up something.
Yeah.
Yes, that's from me lah, bro.
Yeah, it's a very good insight. It's a very good insight. I always think that sometimes kalau kita meletak diri sebagai the rebellious macam ni, I mean masa muda kan, saya rasa kan sekarang tu we want to rebel, but we want, masa kita masuk gereja ataupun once we start ministry kan, okay, saya mau ubah ni. But then apabila kita sendiri berada dekat sana, like what Josh said, we see from different perspective juga lah.
Very true.
Good. Maybe let me just highlight satu lagi yang saya rasakan interesting juga. Ialah apabila even in this movie, memang dia menekankan tentang Greg, Lori relationship with Kat. The love story in this story juga, which is interesting. Ada mix of love story and also the movement. Tetapi kita juga melihat in this movie, dia juga menekankan about this person called Lonnie Frisbee.
Yes.
It's a very controversial character. Tetapi they don't hide it. Walaupun there's something yang biografi, autobiografi tentang Lonnie Frisbee yang mungkin tidak dinyatakan dekat movie. Banyak juga kritik menyatakan kenapa kamu tak cakap pasal his personal life. But how much you can put in movie kan? But still mereka highlight this character, someone yang controversial, and this give us a realness lah kepada movie ini. Dia tidak macam movie Christian kan sometimes.
Sometimes now.
Most of the time.
Most of the time.
But in this movie, memang ada polish dekat sana, of course. But they still bring up this character as one of the important figure in this movement. Yeah. For me, that is interesting juga. Josh, go ahead. Maybe ada lagi kalau tidak.
Actually, there is a few things that I find very interesting in this interaction between the main pastor and Lonnie, bah. You know, like I like the part yang masa dia orang ambil masa dia tengah bercakap dengan isteri dia, masa dia orang tengah ada church service, and then the pastor is about to speak, and then he was talking to the wife. Dia kata, I think I made a mistake. Dia kata, saya sepatutnya tidak halau Lonnie. Dia kata, I never meant it. Did I actually fail? That part can really touch my heart because you know why? I believe banyak sekali youth leaders, church leaders, pastors kan in our darkest place. Especially kadang-kadang sebelum khotbah ni, even though you're sitting down on the chair kan, you're thinking like, have I failed? How bad have I failed? And then the point kan masa the wife reminded him by saying, you don't take away what God is trying to do even in your failures. I was like, ooh, and I was like, Lord, I cried so much in this movie.
Can I
don't know.
Ada tulis juga dialog kan. The wife says to the pastor, don't be so arrogant to think God can work through your failures.
That is. That's those words, man. Ayo, those words, man.
Yeah, it's a real. Do you know that I watched juga the making of this movie?
Okay.
The character yang play Chuck Smith, the pastor, Kelsey Grammer.
Yeah.
Dia play character kan? Dia play character, and he's crying. He's crying when dia ceritakan tentang making in the character of Chuck Smith lah. Dia menangis. Dan dia mengingatkan kenang-kenang lama lah pasal how dia telah meninggalkan faith lah. In this movie really revolutionized his faith lah. And do you know that in the set pada masa baptism tu, it's a very good scene. Baptism kan dekat sungai tu. Yeah. Dekat pantai tu. It's a very good scene. And do you know that there are 5 people yang go for the baptism, real baptism during the set.
Serious, bah?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing, man.
It's amazing. Okay, maybe let me just go through lagi yang interesting ialah apabila Times Magazine dimulakan dengan title Is God Dead? I think that is by siapa nama penulis itu?
That one is Friedrich Nietzsche.
Friedrich Nietzsche.
One of my favorite philosopher.
Yeah, so the magazine start with Is God Dead? Question mark, and then the movie end with 4 years later, the Time Magazine, the Jesus Revolution. 4 years later, it's a different cover page, which is interesting.
Wow.
Okay, let us go to maybe kita ada sentuh beberapa tadi. What are some some troubling or that maybe some question that still linger your mind? Maybe a point of disagreement or maybe some critic lah. Kalau ada, if tidak kita tak perlu paksa kan dia.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, the only thing that I would criticize kan is not about the movie itself lah, but it's about the person who is going to watch the movie. Because if we come as someone who wants to judge, it doesn't matter if the movie is well done or it has a message kan. We will always look at it from a defeatist punya mindset. So anything that the movie has that will be beneficial, it will not be good. But if we come with the heart, you know, at first, I will be very honest. I was very apprehensive. Aku si mau nangka movie tu.
Skeptic.
I was very skeptical because I know about Lonnie, bah.
Yeah.
I was like, Lonnie ni, dia curi duit gereja macam-macam. And then, but when you told me that, like, hey, well, let's do Jesus Revolution, I was like, at first when you said Jesus Revolution, I was like, Jesus Revolution. And then I said, okay lah, I'll watch. But when I believe, actually when I was watching this movie, God was talking to me. You know what I said? I said no, no. I said no, no. I said no so many times. I said no, no, no. And then God actually.
Sorry, no,
Uh,
to what?
I said no because I said I don't want to do what Loni do. I said I don't want.
Okay,
I
okay,
don't want.
okay.
I don't want to accept what Loni said. I said no. But once I relent kan, and then that word came back kan, and then I realized, aduh, memang benar tu. This is the truth. When he said, when we stop looking at people as someone to serve, but to look at them as children who are looking for something, I was like, you know what, Lord, I give up.
Yeah.
I give up. You know what, I give up. And then I realized, kan, sometimes when we have been in ministry for too long,
Yep.
this is another thing. This is an observation and also pengakuan terbuka. Most people who have been serving for more than 5 to 10 years, kita ni bitter.
Right,
We are
right,
very bitter
right.
and we hate people. We don't say we hate people. We don't say that we tak suka orang. But look at what we are doing. We senang-senang halau orang keluar dari gereja kadang-kadang. Our words are so poisonous that when I actually look back at certain areas in my life, I'm like, aduh Lord, is this what I've been doing? Without realizing. And it took Jesus Revolution, it took Loni to remind me. And then eventually, who knows, one day I'll even say, are you the new Messiah? Maybe. Yeah, but that is what I'm thinking of right now lah. I mean, like, as I dwell, I mean, if people say, but Pastor, if you say something like this, you're putting yourself in a position where you mengaku secara terbuka bahwa kamu ada melakukan kesilapan. I am trying my best to be very honest in ministry. There are times even pastors fail to show love to
Yep,
those
yep.
who actually deserve it.
Yep, yep. Tadi my voice ada bit feedback. Maybe you can check speaker keluar balik through you ada feedback when I speak tadi. Okay, so as you look through that, saya juga perhatikan tentang maybe something dia macam ni kan, Josh. When we watch movie, you don't expect the movie betul-betul 100% real life yang terjadi lah. It's a movie, it's an entertainment. There is a creative licenses to do something. Just keep in mind that this is movie. Movie is a movie.
Movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. It's not.
It's a movie.
It's not a documentary. So of course, but when I look through that, saya juga melihat. Okay, this is a bit controversial. Yes, memang tidak dinafikan Lonnie Frisbee. His life is a bit. Toward the end, I believe that he's a believer, tapi toward the end a bit bad lah ending dia. But somehow we make Pastor Chuck Smith glorified lah a bit more in this movie.
Oh yes.
So even a bit criticism for me is that he mungkin cara saya melihat movie itu lah. Sometimes saya tidak melihat actually Pastor Chuck Smith juga ada kelemahan yang ada, not just in the movies but in the real life. I smell a bit jealousy, maybe.
Oh.
Or I can see that sometimes they are a bit hard with Loni. Do you know that Loni apabila dia masih kecil kan, he was molested. Yeah, by caregiver. Kemudian then he's looking for father's personality lah. Mungkin dia melihat satu daripada Chuck Smith, satu lagi nama yang tidak muncul dekat. Sebab selepas dia pergi kan, kalau kita lihat the movie after dia keluar, sorry, tak ada spoiler alert dekat selepas dia keluar daripada rumah tu, dia juga meneruskan pelayanan juga bersama John Wimber. Do you know John Wimber? So some sign and wonder punya ministry lah.
Okay.
So whatever it is, he's looking for a father figure, but in real life actually Chuck Smith a bit disappointed lah as a father figure yang diperhatikan. So maybe that is something that I want to just criticize a bit because okay, any other things from you, Josh?
Yeah, just to add upon that kan, I see that this Lonnie karakternya macam Dia macam belum fully developed bah. He was in his like what the pastor punya character said. He said something like, maybe I push him too hard. Maybe he was not ready. He knew. But I think, sometimes when success, this is just a general thing that happens every day in a man's life. Once you taste success,
Yep.
sometimes you think that success is because of you.
Yep.
And when that thought sudah masuk dalam kepala, that is when you say things that macam Loni and the pastor was saying lah.
Yep.
I took a chance, and then Loni kata, it wouldn't have been like this if it's not for me.
Yep.
And then the pastor said, I could have just cussed you out anytime that I want. I was like, ooh, what kind of conversation is this?
Real conversation.
Yeah, real conversation. I mean, when two egos meet, and then I was like, wow, berani juga tidak engkau. They put this kind of conversation in a Christian apa punya movie, but when you think about it, these things happen everywhere, and
Yep.
if it happens everywhere, it will also eventually happen in church.
Yep.
In any kind of scale. So, and then when I was thinking about that, and then I look upon, because youth ministry is something very close to my heart. So when I look back at it, I was like, ayo. So these are the struggles that we have when kalau, and then I begin to jadi takut, karena the bigger the ministry, makin besar tanggung jawabnya, Bang.
Besar kepala juga lah.
Oh yeah.
Let me give this, see if you agree or not. You see, sometimes tanpa kita realize, we thought that the thing success or not, kita cakap kita melakukannya untuk Tuhan lah, which is true.
Oh yeah.
In some sense it is true, but true from our perspective, ada not 100% true. There's an ego involved. So
Yes.
okay, but you see, maybe apabila benda tu sukses kan kita glorify God, which is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
But when it is fall, apabila kita menyalahkan diri kita for that failure, isn't that in some sense kita align success and failure to what we do dan sebagainya, which is true. We need to improve, we need to learn from mistake, but sometimes kita pun not just success but even failure. Apabila kita merasakan, oh, this came fail disebabkan saya tidak, in some sense juga not just success but failure juga akan mengingatkan kita tentang ego yang kita attach.
Oh yes. Oh yes, I totally agree in that, bro. Like, actually, this is one of the first few questions yang aku tulis on my paper. Like, so when everything is successful, kan, everybody praise the pastor, everybody praise the team, and everybody praise the speakers. But when it fails, what is that? What does that mean actually when it fails, ba? I always wonder. Like, successful ministries, okay. So ministries that fail, what is that actually? Like I'm just giving this contoh lah, RZIM. Did it fail?
Sorry, just to be clear, RZIM is Ravi Zakaria ministry lah.
Yes, Ravi Zakaria ministry. Yeah.
Yeah.
RZIM, Ravi Zakaria ministry. So at the end of his life, when he passed away, lepasnya orang find out about the things about him, his personal character. But throughout his ministry, kan, he had done great and amazing things. He has blessed the church, he has blessed the people. But when this scandal came out, did RZIM fail or did it find good success? This is the things that as believers, kan, we have to be very careful. Bukan careful kena tahu kita punya skandal, no. But how we define the success and the failure of a ministry. Because for us, if the ministry is good or bad, it is not dependent on the person.
Yeah.
Our problem is we always put the person that start the ministry or that the Lord used to build the ministry as the foundation of the ministry. A pastor once came to me and say, he kira macam my peer lah. He said to me, the failure of a church is dependent upon the pastor. I do not agree.
Yep. I think that come from this quote by John C. Maxwell. The rise and fall is come from leader. The rise and fall is come from leader.
Understand.
It seems like making the leader is something which is true in some sense.
In some sense.
But we are in ministry.
Yeah, I have a theory about it, bro.
Yeah.
When a church become an organization, I will agree. When a church become an organization, when a church becomes a sendirian berhad, yes, the rise and fall is dependent upon the leadership. But if the church belongs to God, the rise and fall depends on God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I say this openly kan, banyak tidak suka dengan saya punya statement ni. They say, how can you call the church an organization? And then I told them, if you're not an organization, you do not have to collect the one lah, offering.
Yeah.
If you collect offering, it's an organization lah. It's an NGO somehow, somewhere.
Aduh, okay. Kita takkan cut dulu buka dia. Sudah Joshua kena attack after this. Let's go to the one more thing yang interesting juga juga how ianya juga raise a question about how do we treat the outsiders, how we treat the people yang even Christmas kan, kalau kita fikir pasal Christmas Jesus say come, dia menyatakan the spirit of the Lord is upon me to proclaim the good news to the poor, to the so that is the message of kenapa Yesus datang lah. Somehow kita punya event is more to just church kalangan kita lah. Dan dalam this movie it give us a challenge lah to think about maybe sekarang kita tak ada hippies in Malaysia. What about LGBTQ for example? We can say we disagree with the lifestyle, but are we juga membuka pintu? Our doors juga shut seperti apa yang Frisbee kata kepada Pastor. Yes, there is a struggle, there is a issue thing happen, but sometimes kalau kita terlampau tutup pintu, tutup kedai, do you know that I always have this idea, Joshua. Sorry, kita macam bit house. I have always this. Why don't kita buat gereja yang very simple, tidak ada banyak sangat benda yang kalau kena curi kita tak takut. Buka gereja, open church. And that is interesting yang sepatutnya terjadi lah. I remember apabila saya pernah keluar malam dan saya tak sempat balik rumah. Now I was thinking, mana tempat yang saya boleh stay? Apabila kita pergi ke gereja, kan gereja tutup, pagar sebagainya. Should be that the place. That should be the place for refuge lah, for example.
Very true.
Okay, before we move forward, ada apa-apa lagi daripada sini, Josh?
From the idea that you say kan, a church that is open, actually I understand kenapa banyak gereja tidak terbuka kepada this kind of ministry. It's because that our church are now organizations, and organizations dia orang punya hidup adalah plus and minus, untung and rugi. So because of that, they cannot take chances. And the reason I'm saying this, saya minta maaf lah kepada siapa yang kata, pastor ni cakap benar macam ni. I'm just telling the truth. I am trying to live by the truth. So that I'm telling this so that people will know and understand that the reason why we act this way is not because kita kejam. It's because we are already, our church has grown to a level di mana kita sudah ada tapak, dan masalahnya kita sudah menjadi organisasi. Dan karena pada waktu kita menjadi organisasi, memang akan ada orang yang tidak dapat melepaskan sesuatu, terutama sekali, like contohlah kerusi gereja. Kalau kena curi satu, heboh sekampung. I mean, apa curi? Kenapa kena curi? I'm not saying this because I hate the church. I love the church. Saya masih melayani.
You are in the church, yeah. I'm
part of the church. But I'm saying this because kalau kita betul-betul mau melayani seperti Jesus Revolution punya style, ya harus start dari mula-mula. We have to let go of the church organization and have to start. We mungkin have to start from ground zero lagi. And kalau kita mau cerita pasal LGBTQ, the reason kenapa gereja di Sarawak, or di Malaysia, or Asia, susah menerima mereka yang daripada LGBTQ adalah karena kita adalah orang Asia. Kita tidak terbuka dengan idea-idea baru seperti LGBTQ karena ia mengganggu community secara menyeluruh.
Yep. Thank you, Josh.
No problem.
This is some reflection yang kita look through lah. Of course, seperti dalam cerita ni juga, they doesn't glorify sin or free lifestyle, sexual dan sebagainya. But it just give us the idea of bagaimana dengan people yang seperti ini. Our door buka ataupun tutup. I think it's not just about church, even para church, even Christian fellowship in campus dan sebagainya. Yalah, just look around with people like this. How can we love? I think one of ada dua producer, ada dua director in this movie. He says that one of the themes is that to love people around you. of this movie lah. So how can we show love, but at the same time kita bukan compromise with sin, but even the sin apabila kan you see contohnya dekat movie kan Pastor Smith contohnya kan one of the elder tu kan selalu jadi orang jahat. Jadi dia tu cakap jangan bagi mereka masuk, kan mereka barefoot, then they will kotorkan kapet lah kan.
True.
So this is the way to I want to bring them in, but how to also tidak membuatkan kapet itu kotor. So dia pergi ke hadapan pintu gereja tu dan dia cuci kaki mereka. So in the same way kamu masih lagi welcome, but you still tak kotorkan kapet.
Very clever.
So it's a way to there is a concern, but at the same time what are some creative way lah that we can welcome people dan sebagainya. It's a challenging, but please look around us. This for me dan juga for Joshua lah. Maybe it can revolutionize our ministry. Okay, let us go to insight some dialogue secara cepat so that we can just go to some lesson that maybe we can go deep more about ourselves. For me, the dialogue yang menarik, yang banyaklah dialog menarik. Maybe just saya baca satu. Apabila Loni di hadapan dengan pastor, which is ini juga ada dekat trailer movie. How do I describe about my people? Kemudian dia cakap, they are like sheep without a shepherd. And the trouble is, your people, church people are your people, reject them. So I ask you, pastor, how can they believe in the one whom they have not heard? We can only walk through doors open to us. Kemudian dia, in your church, well, that doors is closed. Wow. I love the screenwriter for this movie. So that's the thing yang menarik lah for me. Josh.
Yeah, I have to agree. That is one of the first few conversations dengan pastor that made me cry. The pastor cried in the movie. I was crying also while watching, because as a pastor, kan our heart as someone who wants to bring people to Christ, kan our heart is always we want to bring people to Christ. It has always been that. The only reason kami orang gini gila-gila mau melayani is because we love people and we want to bring people to Christ. Tapi sometimes we sometimes it's either we do not know or we do not understand. And this is a disclosure, okay? Disclosure. I used to not like evangelism. I used to dislike evangelism because I had an experience where my friend came to me and was very angry. He said to me like, Josh, he said, why you people always talk about Jesus and then at the same time you want to send me to hell? He said. I was surprised, man. He was very angry. He said, if I don't accept your Jesus, I go to hell. You go to hell first. He told me in my face, you go to hell first. I was like, bro, I said, it's not me. I just want to go to class. Let's go to class. And then he calmed down. And since that day, I start to really dislike evangelism. That way of evangelism. I did not know there was more than one way to evangelize.
Correct. Yeah.
I did not understand that actually evangelism is not just talking to people about Jesus Christ. It's actually about living the life of evangelism. I did not understand that loving people is evangelism, I mean, like, and when we look back to the words of Lonnie, and then especially that conversation where he said that your doors are shut. Our church is very beautiful, man. Sometimes I think it's too beautiful until we have to use like the most advanced gate to just make sure the grill just to make sure our church is safe. And then sometimes I think kan kita ni yang kita yang bina gereja ni yang macam we are telling people that we have something to steal by putting a very big gate in front and then they're like everything is like very shiny. But I mean I might be wrong, I might be wrong. Probably my mindset is still budak-budak lah. You can call me, oh, he's still a kid, he doesn't understand. But that's for me.
That's now lah kan. I mean, people grow up. I just want to I don't know so about evangelism just now. I want to for me when I see evangelism, at the end untuk evangelism itu tamat, ialah you share the gospel, you share about Christ. But you cannot just pergi kepada share the gospel terus. You need to live your life macam Joshua cakapkan tadi. That is open the door lah. You need to live the message that you want to proclaim. But for me, the end of evangelism is you need to speak up about Christ. Along the way, you
Yes.
need to live life yang like Christ. Kita cakap pasal Christ, hidup macam okay, okay, okay. Let me just share one more dialog. Banyak dialog yang menarik. Then we will see how I go for Josh dulu. Dialog ini dia cakap, if you look with love, you will see a bunch of kids that are
Oh,
searching for all the right things,
at the
just at the wrong places. Yeah. What do you think about that, Josh?
let me tell you about this lah. When you when we were younger, we were looking for love with the right intention, but at the wrong places.
Correct. Like mana like button tak ada zoom.
I mean,
Ada.
I know. I mean, some of us, right, were most of us, most of us who went to youth service, can we went there because there are pretty girls and handsome boys. Yeah, we started with that, but eventually, can God work His way, lah. God work His way. I mean, at first it's probably attraction, but eventually, when we go deeper, as we grow up together, we begin to see, especially I think it's most of them is because of the those who are our teachers lah, who showed that love to us lah, yang especially those abang and kakak yang betul-betul love us for who we are. That I was actually, because I'm the oldest in my with all my siblings kan. Jadi when one of these kakak actually said this to me, I look at you as my little brother, and I really want you to have good success in life. That actually impacted my life so deeply. I wanted to cry, but I accent biasa lah, macho. Oh, thank you kak, God bless. Tapi deep inside kan, wah, somebody
Yeah.
actually love me.
Wait, ya lepas tu pergi tandas lo.
I still remember her words until today. And uh, what Lonnie said was true lah. If you look at someone with love, kan, actually they're just a bunch of kids who are, can they call themselves truth seekers? Kan? We are truth seekers.
And you see kan, as a full time ministry, we shouldn't macam ni. We shouldn't just comment every culture issue around us. We don't have. You not
Yeah.
necessarily have to do that. You just preach the gospel, expound the scripture. But
Yeah.
how to make it relevant is that you need to look at culture lah. So
You have to look.
what it means that you don't obsess with apa yang terjadi dekat culture kita. Don't be obsessed, but you need to know so that it will speak as we speak the word of God. It can speak
Yes.
for us lah. Macam you see even issue yang around us. Why? Kenapa macam ni? Kenapa orang muda-muda buat macam ni? But deep inside they are looking for something greater lah. But they just macam mereka ni is LSD, drug dan sebagainya. What they are seeking? They are seeking for reality yang lebih tinggi lagi, more than just the world, material world yang mereka perhatikan. So sometimes they take LSD, drug dan sebagainya, so that they can, macam kita cakap
Experience.
imagine.
Imagine.
Sagam imagine. So that they are, because we know that there is something more than life here, and sometimes it juga a form of escapism, because at the end of the day their family problem dan sebagainya. So we do this. So all this rebellion is, for example, at the end of the day, every one of us is looking for a good father. Regardless.
Oh yeah.
Every one of us looking for a good father.
Every one of us looking for a good father.
At the end of the day, we have got the father. Bunyinya macam cliche, but we have a perfect father in heaven that really loves us, and his son yang turun untuk kita lah. So for me, itu mengingatkan saya tentang Saint Augustine.
Oh yeah.
The confession. Dia berkata begini, you have made us for yourself, O Lord, and our hearts are restless until they rest in you. Hati kami tidak akan tenang kalau kami tidak tinggal di dalammu.
Yes, very true. Can I add a bit, bro?
Please, Josh. Before we go to closing remark.
Masa, do you realize that actually one of the things yang ditekankan dengan pengambilan dadah dalam movie itu kan, is actually most of them are very intellectual.
Oh, okay.
It shows a difference between yang intellectual dengan yang recreational drug users. I tiba-tiba ingatnya because I was put to remembrance to mereka yang di kenosis.
Sorry.
Kenosis Miri. Kenosis Miri is a rehabilitation center, Christian rehabilitation center for young men. So the reason why people ambil dadah kan is either two, recreational, just because they want to escape, or number two because they feel that ni orang berfikir gila kan, sampai sida stuck in one place, so they want to have a breakthrough kan. So masa aku dengar when Greg actually macam he keep on talking about, oh, actually this life is like this and this life is like that, and then his friends were just laughing. And then the time of kesedaran is when the girlfriend punya adik hampir mati apa. And I was like, I think most of the young people can struggle with this, but they know so much. Some of them they know so much, but when they have to face the truth kan, macam Greg lah, somebody came to help him, or Lonnie came to help him, but he just went away. He don't want to accept help. Even when people was praying for him the first time, what he did, he ran away from love, man.
Yep.
He ran away from love. And then when we look at masanya kena baptis, it's because of the girl yang bawanya. Nya si rela. He didn't want to. And then, but he said, but I love his character lah when he said, I'm not afraid. Well, I'm actually a bit afraid. I mean, it shows that it doesn't matter if you are a recreational user or someone who is trying to run away kan. Drugs will never bring you to a satisfactory release. As many can attest to lah. And I believe even though this in our time kan people are talking more about LGBTQ, I think it's the same thing lah.
Yep.
It's just that they're not using drugs anymore. They are using alternative gender, orang panggil yang gitu lah.
Maybe they can explore about gender. Maybe they can explore about even social media addiction. Last time addiction is different from now. Daripada dulu addiction lain.
Yes.
Pornography punya magazine. Sekarang just go to phone dan
Go to website.
It's the same situation but different context yang terjadi lah pada ketika itu.
Yes.
Let us go to as we end this. I think we can sampai 3 jam. Okay, sorry. You cakap pasal baptis tadi kan, Josh? You know there is a scene apabila Lonnie pray for Greg. That scene. Do you receive Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior?
Yes.
The director cakap the dialogue yang keluar daripada mulut tu is very genuine and a bit off script.
Oh.
Yes. Sebab dia buatnya terlampau genuine lah, seolah-olah is a real baptism yang
Wow.
Yep.
That's amazing, man.
So let us go to yes.
Because the gambaran yang nya bagi masanya kena baptis ya kan, macam very artistic banyak.
Oh yes, dia nyelam.
Dalam. And then wow, I was enjoying it. I was like, ooh, wow, memang ngam lah.
Aku ingat apabila nya tenggelam dia nya bangkit balik keluar dekat multiverse.
Tepat lah. I thought he was dead, you know. Mati lah kan?
Betul lah kan? I mean, baptism is a death unto self. So that when you keluar. Okay, come let us to what are some biblical lesson that you learn? Maybe something about God. Maybe along the way kita memang sudah katakan tadi. But still, if you want to, I need to highlight this a bit more.
Boleh.
You know, in that movie ada Catherine Kuhlman.
Oh,
it's a woman, Catherine woman. Ingat tak? Ada one perempuan. You know Catherine Kuhlman kan?
Yes, one of the memang prominent
Science and Wonder
ladies. Yeah.
So she was there in that scene. So many people have a mixed view about Catherine Kuhlman. Tapi she did appear for a few seconds lah in that movie. Maybe something that I don't know. Should we associate dengan this Sign and Wonder punya thing? For whatever it is, I think it's interesting, but at the same time, some question raised because I do believe Simon Wonder. I do believe in spirit fear.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean, if God is the same yesterday, today, forever, kan? Sign and wonders, healing, the ability to do things that Jesus sendiri kata you will do greater things. Greater macam ni, build building. Is that the only greater things that the Christians of now can do kah? Build building, better music, apa lagi? Hujung-hujung silap mata lah. I mean, I'm sorry to say this in this way lah. I'm not being judgmental to those who say that there is no more healing. You are healed every day. You are breathing every day. You do not tell yourself that okay, I will breathe tomorrow morning until tomorrow night. That is a miracle by itself. We are too way advanced, kan? We could create a watch that can connect to the handphone. Sampai kita lupa that actually the ability to walk is a gift. You know, what if one day your leg just becomes so weak and then you just lose ability to walk? Are you gonna do how? What are you gonna do? I mean, like, sorry lah, malala.
Pastor Mo. I know what they will reply.
Yeah.
What you mean by miracle is actually God's providence. Okay, that is for the next. That is for the next time. Do you know
Next
that there is a movie about sessionism? Maybe we can discuss about that next time. So
Sure.
let us share about
Stop ya.
mana ni? What we have learned from this? Banyak juga. Maybe for you, maybe you can share one or two. Maybe you can share one first, then I share them. Yeah, Josh.
All right. So
The most impactful lessons.
the most impactful for me, the most impactful, I was reminded about the birth of Jesus actually. Do you know from Matthew 1:25? Siapa? Jangan guna memori bahaya. That one always happen. Guna memori sekali nangga salah. Alamak. Faulty juga memori manusia tu. Matthew 1:18 until 25, and also from Luke 1, Luke 1 from 15 to 38 kah? 20.
Maybe you want to start at 26 to 38?
Oh yeah, 26 to, correct, you're correct. 26 to 38. That one is in Luke 1, 26 to 38. And in Matthew 1, 15 to 28. So this, I'm not going to read it all. What I want to say is this. Masa Yesus dilahirkan, there are two different respon. For Mary, the malaikat Gabriel datang padanya. Dia macam lonely. It's just like lonely. He has an experience where God come to him and he called to God. Dia sendiri begitu. God use me and God tolong gunakan saya, and Tuhan menggunakan hidup dia. So for Mary, the experience is something like that. The angel came and the angel begitu. Terpujilah engkau yang dikasihi Tuhan, who find favor in the eyes of God. Kamu akan melahirkan Yesus. Kamu tahu when Mary heard that, dia susah hati. Dia bukan puji Tuhan. No, she was like, pregnant? How?
How can this be?
Yeah, how can this be? Kamu tahu yang if a woman yang belum kawin pregnant, bad news.
Yep.
Bad woman. Alright? Tapi you know, when they asked the angel Gabriel, so how? And the angel Gabriel said, don't worry, it will happen spiritually. I think kalau saya Mary kan saya pasrah aja, okay, mana-mana lah kata kau. Spiritual pun spiritual lah. I mean, but because this is Gabriel, you know, this is not Mr. Gabriel daripada kampung sebelah. This is Angel Gabriel lah. So I believe
bukan Gabriel Jalong.
Oh, bukan Gabriel Jalong lah. So somehow Mary decide to trust in the Lord. And then when we go to Matthew, this is from the man's perspective. Just now was the woman's perspective. With the woman's perspective, kamu tahu how dia end? Dia end macam ni. Terjadilah sesuai apa yang engkau nyatakan kepadaku. Dengan kata setuju daripada Mary. But when we go to the man's side, kamu tahu macam mana the man's side? He wanted to go for a divorce. He was like, okay, whatever. Yeah. But he want to do it in a good way. The only difference between Joseph dan laki lain is that Joseph had enough integrity in him untuk lakukannya dalam diam-diam untuk melindungi Maria. And the best thing happen is that laki, you cakap apa dengan dia masa hati sakit, nothing will change. So he went to sleep. And you know, why God talk to him when he's sleeping? Because he cannot fight back. So the angel came to him when he was sleeping.
Again, remind me apa kaitan ni tadi dengan this movie?
Yeah. This movie, this is like the pastor, the situation of the pastor. If it is not
It's a very
through,
difficult
yeah,
situation.
very difficult to accept normally as a human being. But God came in his dreams and talked to him personally. He said, "Take Mary as your wife. Take Mary as your wife. Don't worry. It's Jesus. We're talking about Jesus." So you know the difference between man and woman. When the man woke up, dia terus bekerja, just like the pastor. When his heart was convicted, not by man. Maybe because, tapi Loni yang cakap dengan apa? Loni can say many things. The pastor still can say no. But why was his heart moved? Because masa kita nangga movie-nya dari mula-mula kan, actually masanya nangga orang kata amen ni kan, kurang-kurang kata amen, he was struggling. He was like, Lord, is this church kan? God has been working in his heart dari mula. Just like Joseph, he's been working in his heart from the beginning. Masa dia dapat the confirmation, he was like, all right, we're going to try. And for me, this is how I look at the parallel because when Jesus was born, it was not something easy. It was not something macam, wow, look, Jesus is coming down to the stomach of Mary. No, it was just like the same thing that happened to the Jesus Revolution punya beginning. It was not easy.
Yep.
If something is worthy, it will never be easy. That is what we have to learn as Christians lah. The life, actually, this is something I learned the hard way. The life of a Christian kan is actually the best adventure. It is some of the hardest, the most impossible, the most crazy, and sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But once you put your trust in the Lord and you move in His calling, tahu heran, macam ni aku boleh di situ.
Yep.
Yeah, this is what I've learned lah, and I hope it makes sense.
Yeah, you see, you said it's a very adventurous, challenging, and it's also faith with God dan sebagainya kan. People say betul kan macam tu. All we can say is read your Bible lah, bunyinya macam klise. Just read your Bible, see how people ups and down. Sometimes people links Lonnie Frisbee with Samson. Macam mana God still use Samson, but at the same time God doesn't say, oh bagus apa yang kamu buat Samson. He still struggle with his own faith lah dan sebagainya.
Oh yes.
And even in that Luke chapter 1, for nothing is impossible with God. Says
nothing is impossible with God.
Okay.
Amen.
For me, one of the thing that if I want to just squeeze dia kepada satu saja, we just overshoot ourselves, is that when I look at yang character yang sangat obvious is Lonnie Frisbee lah. I believe that apabila dia bertobat, dia doesn't practice homosexual. I think he struggle with homosexuality, but dia tidak practice. But only after certain times apabila dia feel rejected, some good report mengatakan bahawa dia pergi kepada gay party lah dan sebagainya.
Okay.
Some also gives yang the end of the day, he did repent of his sin lah. But whatever it is, I want to highlight. Even God used Pastor Chuck Smith, which is I just want to share his life is not that as much as grand yang kita perhatikan. Yeah. Even Greg Laurie, there are a lot of things juga disagreement dan sebagainya. But maybe could it be that apabila Christian menonton this the Jesus Revolution, we are missing the point apabila kita too hang up with this human character.
Yes.
Forget that God is the one yang changed the life. The movie is called Jesus Revolution.
Jesus, not Greg Revolution.
Yeah, it's not Legacy.TV Revolution. It's God Revolution, and the character that we want to worship, that I see throughout this movie, is how can God begini? If God ingat lagi Lonnie Frisbee, dia sebelum dia buat mujizat kan, ada satu orang wanita duduk di hadapan yang masih lagi on drug dan sebagainya kan.
Baju putih.
Dia cakap, if God, I was having that difficulty, if God can change me, God can change you too.
You too, yeah.
When I watched that movie, if God can use Lonely Frisbee.
Yeah.
Hello, hello. Are you better than? Are we better? Hello, God can use you too,
Anybody,
and
man.
it is glory to God lah. And I want to use closings, First Corinthians chapter 1, where Paul says this to the Corinthians. Remember, dear brothers and sisters, that few of you were wise in the world's eyes, or powerful, or wealthy when God called you. Instead, instead, God chose things the world considers foolish in order to shame those who are wise, and chose things that are powerless to shame those who are powerful. God chose things despised by the world, things counted as nothing at all, and used them to bring to nothing what the world considers important. As a
Man.
result, no one can ever boast in the presence of God. If God
No
use
one.
you and me next time, a very flawed human being, the glory is to God and the boasting is to God. Kita,
Amen.
in Joshua, kita disuruh untuk boasting kan?
True.
Boasting is sinful, but boasting in the Lord is something yang you can
True.
boast, but boast in the Lord.
Boast in the Lord, man. I mean, like when people say thank you for your sermon, can just say welcome, because
Yeah.
you're not boasting because you are the one who is doing the sermon. But sometimes the messenger can all we have to do is say, hey, thank you for your sermon. Oh, welcome. God bless.
Ambil je lah kan, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, God bless, because eventually, we cannot steal the glory of God.
Sure.
We cannot steal the glory of God. No matter how we said it is me, people know. God know. And I think God is having fun. Like, you want the glory? Go ahead. I'm glorious. I am the definition of glorious. I mean, you can try to steal, lah. You can try to take it unto you, but how long can that glory remain
Yep. Yep.
if you don't remain in the glorious God?
Okay, thank you, Josh. As we end this discussion,
Mhm.
1 to 10, will you suggest this movie or not? How many stars you want to put in this movie?
For this movie, I will give it a 7.5. It's a very good movie. It has things that we can learn from. Why I don't give it an 8? Because if it includes more scene yang see the struggle, the personal struggle, I think would have been much better lah. Personal struggle from, especially the one yang saya mau tengok more was Lori and the pastor, the main pastor. Because sometimes people don't understand what pastors and what leaders are going through. And this movie could have done much better in that area, but I understand why they choose not to. Because this movie is to remind people why Jesus Revolution started. And if you are someone who is in the youth ministry, you want to rekindle back your fire, you want to be encouraged again to take up your cross again, watch this movie, man. You will cry. And I'll be very honest, I actually paused a few times. I almost skip a few parts, because I know this is going to be painful. I don't want to watch. But after I watched it, I cried through it, and then I said, Lord, you know what? Thank you. Yeah, that's from me, man.
Oh, thank you very much for that vulnerability from you, Josh.
No problem, man.
I put this as 7 juga. 7. Again, movie is a movie. No matter how much you look at the background, but I wish what can make it better. I wish. Okay, although Greg Laurie is the one yang consult, and the movie is based on his book, The Jesus Revolution. I feel that if you can just keluarkan a bit, turunkan sikit, biar karakter tu jadi supplement. I want it to be more of these two figure lah. Sebab I think there are too many emotion that we need to invest. I hope kalau ada just these 2 person is a quite big character, to put another character Greg Laurie dekat sana, I think it gives too much emotion to think about love story. I think the young people will love it, whatever it is.
Yeah.
I want to see more of the struggle of how to bring the people yang tidak diperhatikan oleh masyarakat to be more emphasized dekat sana. But
the ministry itself.
Yeah. But whatever it is, the advisor for this movie is Pastor Grace. Okay, thank you very much, Joshua. Thank you. Jumpa lagi in the next discussion. Jumpa lagi. Shalom.
Jumpa lagi.
Ayat shalom.
Shalom. Shalom.
Okay.